Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
What is up, full-time family? And Michael Bisping has officially announced his retirement from MMA. This came out of nowhere, low-key, because Michael Bisping, he lost his fight to George St. Pierre when he lost his title, made a quick turnaround against Kelvin Gastelum. A lot of people felt like it was too soon, and it ended up looking like it was too soon as he was knocked out against Kelvin Gastelum. So Michael Bisping went from being the champion to getting knocked out of the top 10 in like a month, which is just, it was pretty unexpected as far as Michael Bisping being the champion and, being at the top of the world, the high moment of his career, to being on a 2-fight losing streak really fast, wondering who's his retirement fight going to be against. Is it going to be Vitor Belfort? Is it going to be Lyoto Machida? Is it going to be somebody else, a Rashad Evans? I mean, who's Michael Bisping going to retire against now in a big fight? It's going to have to be a big fight. Michael Bisping, he's done everything in the sport, so it's coming. But this is the thing. Michael Bisping was flirting with another fight, and now he's just retiring with no retirement fight. So that's why I believe Michael Bisping is about ready to leave the sport, especially if you hear his reasoning. He's starting to have problems with his good eye. A lot of people know Michael Bisping had a bad eye this entire time, ever since he fought Vitor Belfort. I believe it was his left eye. Well, now his right eye, after his Kelvin Gastelum fight, was starting to have signs of flashes and fucking up. So before he loses both of his eyes, he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of this sport, bro, before I leave the sport blind. And that's one thing why you have to give Michael Bisping all the respect in the world. I don't care if you don't like trash talk. I don't care if you don't feel like he was the best middleweight in the world. That don't mean shit. Michael Bisping is a fucking legend of the UFC and MMA in general. He sold fights with the trash talk. He was one of the best fighters. He's one of the most active fighters in the UFC. He's one of the most experienced fighters in the UFC. He's taken injuries from the sport. He's put it all, went out there on his shield. He's fought legends of the sport. He's fought Anderson Silva. He's fought GSP. He's been fighting forever. Michael Bisping is a legend of the sport. Now he's still got a job outside of fighting, which is a great thing to see for someone like Bisping, doing his commentary work and stuff like that. So that's always good to see for a fighter. Also, Michael Bisping's made his money in the sport when he got to fight GSP and headline Madison Square Garden. He's been in movies. Michael Bisping's had a career he can look back on with his good eye and say, man, I did it all. There's not really any reason for me to continue. I mean, and that's what he had to say. This is what he had, Michael Bisping said. I was watching this movie last night, and I thought it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. I mean, what else am I going to do? I won the belt. I've had tons of wins. I've done everything I set out to achieve. What's the point of flogging a dead horse? And not that I'm a dead horse, but what's the point? I've done everything I set out to achieve. Fortunately, now I've used my platform to open other doors. You've got to know when to walk away. I'm almost 40 years old. The time is now. So I want to say, first of all, thank you to my wife. Without her, it wouldn't have happened. That's a fact. She was incredible every single step of the way. My children, my dad was amazing. And of course, everyone in the UK and around the world that supported me. Very heartfelt, sentiment from Michael Bisping. He said, so yeah, there you go. Great career. That's that. Thank you, everybody. And one thing that that I have to bring up, because I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I feel like Michael Bisping's retiring now because he feels like the pressure of being one of the UK's biggest, or the UK's only big MMA star, has been relieved off of Michael Bisping's shoulders with the win of Darren Till. Darren Till is now a young stud that England can root for, only 25 years old. Michael Bisping was that star, but he's approaching the end of his MMA career, and so now he can, but that was the thing about Michael Bisping. If he left, who did the UK have as far as their big star, right? So I don't know if that played anything into this decision for Michael Bisping, if he felt more relieved now that Darren Till's here, but it very well could have been. But it could have had nothing to do with Darren Till. I mean, Michael Bisping was talking about possibly fighting on the UFC Liverpool card. Him and the UFC couldn't really come together on the retirement fight. Michael Bisping and the UFC, the UFC, I believe, wanted to make that Vitor Belfort versus Bisping retirement fight. Bisping wasn't really for it. He's like, yo, that's the dude that fucked up my eye. I'm not giving him the opportunity of fighting me again. Fuck that guy. I hate him. We're not fighting. Me and Vitor are not fighting. There was talks about potentially Bisping versus Machida. Those fell through. Bisping versus Rashad Evans. Those fell through. So if Michael Bisping was going to fight again, it would only be one more time. And honestly, who's that fight going to be against? I don't know. I got to admit, I would like to see Bisping one last time. And I'm not going to lie, we could still. You guys know how these MMA retirements go. Guys, you know, and the thing about Bisping is, he wasn't even all the way out the door, right? Like, he wanted one last fight. He wanted a retirement fight. And now after some thinking, he's like, man, fuck it. And I do like what Bisping's saying here. You know, you got to know when to hold him. You got to know when to fold him. This is a fucking great look. It's just hard to believe. This is one of the best retirements, low-key. If Michael Bisping does go away, I like it because he did it very fucking smart. He thought about it. What do I have to gain? Not much. I'm not going to be the champ. I've already been the champion, fought in huge fights. I've got other opportunities outside of fighting. What if I go in there, some weird reason, and lose my last good eye? Literally, Michael Bisping would be blind. Fucking blind. Unless the doctors could fix. There was talks of them possibly fixing his fucked up eye. But if Michael Bisping could literally lose his vision to the sport, a sport that he's already given all of this to, so I like that Michael Bisping, you know, thought about everything that goes into it. He considered his family, his fans, the UK, everybody. And so with that being said, if Michael Bisping does not come back, I'm not going to be upset. But I will say this, if he did want to fight one last time, of course you got to support it. There's no way I'm not supporting it. If it's on a pay-per-view, you got to buy it because you know it's Michael Bisping's last fight. Legend of the sport. We might never get to see him again. So if that time does come around, I'll be interested and I wouldn't be too surprised. But at the same time, respect to Michael Bisping if we don't get to see him again. He's did enough for the sport, for all of us as fans, for his country, selling fights for everybody. People, you know, before trash, Michael Bisping was one of those guys that was with the trash talk before it was cool. You know, back when people would hate you for talking trash and being disrespectful, Michael Bisping still got it. He was one of those guys that helped bring the entertainment and helped get the sport to where it is today. So with that being said, man, his manager and other fighters have reacted on Twitter. A lot of respect going around for Michael Bisping, as you could imagine. This was his manager's statement. Congrats to Michael Bisping on a Hall of Fame career, the Ultimate Fighter winner, two-time Ultimate Fighter coach, winningest fighter in UFC history, first British UFC champion in history. I've been honored to work with Michael Bisping towards the championship years and have watched him fight through trials and tribulations as he was a perennial title contender, ultimately reaching the sport's greatest achievement by winning the UFC championship. Through all that, he has achieved one thing I'm most proud of, and is how hard he fought for his family's future, risking his life on the line each time he stepped into the octagon. I am proud to call Michael a client, but more importantly, a dear friend. Now it's time for Michael to achieve greatness in the next phase of his professional career. The future looks bright, Mr. Bisping. Thank you for all you've done for our sport. So yeah, man, that was his manager, heartfelt from Audi Atar, I believe. And then as far as Michael Bisping's other eye is concerned, you know, the good eye that was starting to go bad, he already had a bad eye, and now his good eye was starting to flash. He said that also played into this decision. I realized there's a flash going on, it's just my eye, and every time I look left, it flashes. It still does it now when it's dark. It's light now, so I can't see it. So I started freaking out thinking, oh my God, I don't believe this. I've got a detached retina in my good eye. I have problems with my bad eye. It doesn't look good. So obviously I was kind of freaking out. And you could imagine if you're a guy that's already got that fucking eye problem, now your other eye's doing it. Oh, what the fuck? And you expect me to go out here and fight another fucking killer? Because that's what Michael Bisping's been fighting. He's been fighting fucking killers for as long as you can remember. The last fucking 5 to 10 years of his career, he's a perennial title contender. He's a guy that's been in the top 15 of the middleweight division, top 10, fighting those fucking savages in the UFC. He's not fighting in the fucking Alaskan, Kansas fighting championships. He's not fighting in the motherfucking jungle galore glory. No, he's fighting in the UFC fucking stud killers. That's Michael Bisping we're talking about. So hats off to him. I think I've said enough on this video. Maybe we get to see him one more time. I gotta admit, selfishly, I would love to see Michael Bisping fight one more time. The lead up, the build up to the fight. But at the same time, as a man, you gotta fucking respect what he's doing. Hats off to Michael Bisping, the legend. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out. And as always, thanks for checking out this video. If you want to join the notification gang, make sure you hit subscribe and also hit the bell next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. And if you want to help this channel reach its full potential, consider hitting the PayPal link in the description or going to patreon.com/fulltimemma and becoming a patron. I'm out.
This is #1 bullshit.